Hey guys, so I made multiple attempts to record this video last week and get it out to you, and was having technical difficulties. And between that and the holiday, it was just like, it's not happening. And coming back to it this week, I really feel like that was a good thing. It gave me kind of some added perspective to how I wanted to answer today's question, and I think that it's really going to, like, it was for my best good, it was for your best good to have this extra time to sit with and mull on the question, which will take us right into this week's question. So the one that really was speaking to me over the past couple of weeks was this question of, what do I do about the dread of PMDD weeks, of Hell Week, of Luteal, whether that's PMDD or PME, where you know that just whatever experience, normal mental health things that you're struggling with, you know that it's going to feel more intense. And this is such a common experience and it's common, I think there's pieces of it that are common with a normal cycle of feeling like very productive and motivated, and that experience shifting, and we can feel like we're falling off the horse, and we're losing that momentum. But with PMDD, there can be this added layer of dread of the symptoms of the mental and emotional distress and the feeling crazy, and that sort of the intrusive thoughts, those negative experiences. And what I find is that this experience of dread most often hits when we're experiencing something good. And that good can be something big, like we're feeling excited, we're feeling really motivated, we're feeling really productive, really joyful. Good can also mean a moment of like peace and quiet where like nothing's happening, where we're okay. And this comes back very much to our nervous system. Our nervous system is here to protect us. And so this idea of dread for something in the future, anxiety about something in the future, is our body's way of protecting us, preparing us, helping us to try to avoid something. However, when we know that this experience is coming, it can feel like these moments of dread just extend the PMDD window, and it kind of steals our good days from us. So I wanted to talk a little bit today about what you can do when that dread crops up. And I think it really comes down to two things that we need to practice with this. One is presence, and the other is gratitude. Presence is being in the moment that we're in. Like, yes, hard days may be coming, but those hard days are not here right now. And it's that presence is also negotiating with the dread. It's saying like, okay, is there something I can do in this moment that is helpful, that is supportive for that future me, right? So that could be some meal planning. It could be communicating that you're going to need support. It could be reaching out to your friends and community, making sure that your therapy is scheduled, like all of these sort of planning for that window, planning support. And then in that case, it can be that anxiety, right, is helpful. It's serving us. It's helping us plan for the future and make sure that we're set up to be supported and be as successful as we can be. However, what often happens in these scenarios is that dread blooms and grows and moves out of this helpful space to just creating a day that could have been really good and could have been one of the good days, and being fully kind of present in the experience of the day and taking it into this kind of pulling PMDD into it. And so when we're in that space, I think gratitude is such a helpful practice to help us to be present. And I know that you've heard to make gratitude lists, write down everything you're thankful for, or at least come up with one or two things that you're thankful for. And I think that practice can be incredibly helpful in the midst of PMDD, because our nervous system response in that moment is, I want to say, like, makes more sense or is more appropriate, and just in the sense that it is happening in response to something in our environment. Now, that doesn't mean like that it's fully justified or that we're actually like in need of that level of a response, but it is happening to something in our environment. And so this idea of using a gratitude list to help like get us out of our head, to help us get some perspective, to slow down, that either fight or flight or freeze, response that's happening. However, when I think we're in these good days and that dread starts to creep up, what I found to be most helpful is a gratitude practice of being as embodied as I possibly can. So, what that looks like is combining presence and gratitude and seeing how we can expand that in our bodies. So, it's not making a list of like, well, this thing good happened today, but it's in this moment, what am I feeling that is good? Am I feeling the sun on my skin? Am I doing work that's meaningful to me? Am I with a friend who I care about or with a partner and having a good moment and pleasant time with them? And whatever it is that you can focus on in that moment, that's a good and positive thing. Like really tune into where do I feel that in my body? And even if you can just take a moment to feel it for like a moment longer. And then if you can do that, seeing if you can expand it in your body. Can you hold on to it for an extra second? Can you spread that feeling of connection and joy a little bit more in your body? So maybe you feel it here. Can you push that down? Can you spread it further across your chest and, into your womb and, just kind of into your limbs, like just imagining it being almost like a light that you're spreading through your body. Because what we're doing here is we're teaching our body to feel good and to feel safe and getting our body comfortable with what it feels like to be safe, to not be hypervigilant, to not be scanning our environment for threats. And this is a practice that I love because it's something that we can tangibly and physically do in our good days that is building up this tolerance and helping us later. Because then once you're in PMDD, maybe what you're feeling is like you have a moment that's not bad. Maybe you don't feel good, but it's not like horrible in that moment. Taking this practice into that and saying, can I just feel this moment of like respite, of a little bit of relief? And can I feel that for a moment longer? Can I bring in gratitude that it's been so much worse and it's not at that level in this moment? And again, we're training our bodies, we're training our nervous systems to get comfortable with peace, to get comfortable being, and not just comfortable, but creating safety within our bodies, being in our body, as opposed to the practice of disassociation that so often happens, right? When we get overwhelmed, when our nervous system is overwhelmed. And just recognizing that any moment of feeling good is serving you and helping you to expand your capacity for that. So for a long time, years even, I spent so much time kind of minimizing my joy and my excitement and those feel-good feelings because I had this idea in my head that if I was remotely or relatively flat the rest of the time, these like PMD dips in mood and availability and all of those things wouldn't look as extreme, wouldn't be as noticeable. But with all of my focus on, what is okay, like managing my nervous system and keeping myself feeling safe and calm and not allowing out like any of these outbursts, like the more I focused on that, also the more that consumed of my life. And I didn't actually create space for feeling good. And so this has been a journey that I've been on. And also it's been a journey not just in like relieving initial PMDD symptoms, but as I continue on my healing journey, there's so often where I will feel a sensation that feels like PMDD. And learning to recognize that like my body is going there because my body said, historically, when you feel this way, it's associated with this, it's because of this. And I find that this happens when you're deep in symptoms and like everywhere along the journey as you build this relationship with your body and this safety with your body and this self-trust with yourself and with your body. Because what I found is that when I became aware of PMDD and could actually plan for it, that was really helpful in having a sense of like, okay, I know when it's coming, I know how I can support myself. but it also came with this hyper awareness and hyper vigilance where anytime I would feel any sort of low mood, even if it was like the day after ovulation or the day of ovulation, I would often immediately sort of spiral and be like, okay, here it is, we've arrived. That sucks. PMDD is going to be even longer. And I almost like surrendered to the experience of PMDD. And what I found, and again, that I come back to as these feelings come up, is that this is a moment. This is a moment of low mood. This is a moment of depression. And like, if I can allow that and allow myself to start thinking of PMDD and thinking of these experiences as moments that I'm here and present for, as opposed to expanding it and being like, PMDD is this 2-week block or 1-week block or however many days it is for you, and being like, once I'm in it, it's lasting that full time. And instead, when we look at these moments, again, coming back to that presence and gratitude in the moment, we can then allow those darker moments to be there and to pass, and we can start to identify the gaps. So again, as we're looking for these moments to expand and cling to and expand in our bodies, we're not even looking for pure excitement and bliss. If you have those moments and you have access to that, incredible, like feel it, enjoy it, bask in it, expand it. But these can also be moments of neutrality. So even within those PMDD windows, when that dread sort of comes up of like, okay, it's here, it's arrived, it's going to be, and we still do that catastrophizing and that dread for the future by expanding those negative feelings. So it's looking for the gaps. Okay, I blew up. But now I have this moment where like, okay, I felt worse than this. So how can we focus on these moments of relief all the way up through moments of like feeling good and joyful and excited and fully connected, and center those experiences and expand those experiences and see how PMDD starts to become a little bit more manageable and it starts to feel a little bit smaller in our experience when we do that. So I hope this is helpful. I hope this gives kind of a different approach and a different perspective to how to bring gratitude into your experience with PMDD and how to kind of shift your perspective on what it is that you're expanding in your life. And if you have questions, you want me to break this down further, I'd love to do that. Comment on the video or reply to the email and let me know how I can further help you with this really challenging part of PMDD.